The moment he realizes he can't replace you. Have you ever wondered what truly happens in the silent, hollowed-out space a woman leaves behind? Not in the immediate aftermath, filled with the loud static of pride and the frantic rearrangement of a life, but in the quiet that follows. Most believe a man's first instinct is to fill that void, to find another body, another voice, another presence to occupy the physical space she once held. And on the surface, that often appears to be true. He might move with a speed that feels insulting, finding a new partner, posting new pictures, creating a public narrative of effortless recovery. But this rush isn't about replacement. It's about deflection. It is a desperate attempt to outrun the ghost that has just been born from her absence. He isn't trying to replace her. He's trying to replace the function she served. Carl Jung spoke of the anima, the unconscious feminine archetype within a man, the idealized inner woman he spends his life seeking in the outer world. For the man who has not done the work to understand his own soul, the woman he is with becomes a blank screen onto which he projects this anima. She becomes the vessel for his unlived emotional life, the custodian of his vulnerability, the silent carrier of his dreams and fears. He wasn't in a relationship with a whole, separate human being. He was in a relationship with his own projection. When she leaves, the screen goes dark, but he doesn't mourn the screen. He simply believes he needs a new one. His ego, the carefully constructed mask he shows the world, cannot and will not acknowledge the devastating truth that the light he thought he was seeing was a collaboration, a unique alchemy created between his soul and hers. So he seeks a new screen, someone who smiles, someone who is available, someone who can stand in the spot where she once stood. He believes people are interchangeable parts in the machinery of his life, that one feminine presence is as good as another to keep the engine running smoothly. This is the great delusion of the unexamined heart. He sees her departure not as the loss of a singular, irreplaceable universe of a person, but as a logistical problem to be solved, a vacancy to be filled. He mistakes her physical form for her energetic signature. He remembers the shape of her hands, but has already forgotten the way they could calm the storm in him without a word. He remembers the sound of her laughter, but has forgotten it was the only sound that could make the walls of his inner fortress feel less like a prison. He is operating from a place of profound psychic blindness, convinced that the world is a catalog of options and that he can simply order a replacement for what he has lost. What he fails to understand is that he didn't just lose a person. He lost a witness. He lost the one person who saw the man he could be, hidden beneath the man he was pretending to be, and loved both. And the search for her replacement is doomed from the start, because he isn't looking for a person. He's looking for a miracle worker to manage the chaos he refuses to face within himself. This initial phase is governed by a Stoic's worst nightmare, a complete dependency on externals for inner peace. The philosopher Epictetus taught that our suffering comes not from events themselves, but from our judgments about them. The man in this state judges his solitude as a failure and her absence as a problem to be fixed externally. He avoids the deep, transformative pain of introspection by creating noise, motion, and distraction. He populates his life with new faces, new conversations, new experiences, all in a desperate bid to prove to himself and to the ghost of her memory that he is fine, that he is wanted, that he is unaffected. But every new interaction is tainted. Every new smile feels like a caricature of hers. Every new conversation feels superficial, lacking the rich subtext that he and she had built over years of shared silence and storms. He is trying to build a new house on the same fractured foundation, not realizing that the foundation itself is what needs to be excavated and rebuilt. He is haunted not by her, but by the resonance she left behind. It's a frequency no one else can match because it was tuned specifically to the most hidden parts of his own soul. He may have a new person by his side, but he is more alone than he has ever been. He just doesn't have the language to understand it yet. The first cracks in his denial are beginning to form, not as sadness, but as a low, persistent hum of psychic irritation, a feeling that something is profoundly and irrevocably out of place. He has replaced the vessel, but the well of his own soul is running dry. The next stage of his journey is marked by a growing sense of dissonance, a psychic friction that he cannot name but feels in every cell of his being. The replacement, the new person he so quickly installed in her place, is failing at a job she never knew she was hired for. She doesn't understand why he grows quiet in the middle of a happy moment, or why a certain song on the radio makes his jaw tighten. She cannot navigate the labyrinth of his moods because she was never given the map, a map the previous woman had co-authored with him, through shared experience and intuitive understanding. This new person is not a mind reader. She is simply a person. And for the first time, he is forced to confront the colossal weight of emotional labor the woman who left had carried so silently, so effortlessly. She was his translator for the world, and for himself. She understood his silences. She absorbed his unspoken anxieties. She held space for his contradictions without demanding he resolve them. She was the container for his chaos. The new person, understandably, expects him to communicate, to explain, to be a partner in the work of the relationship. She hands the weight of his own emotions back to him, and he finds them unbearably heavy. He has never had to carry them alone before. This is where the ghost of her presence becomes an active force in his life. He finds himself in conversations comparing the new to the old, not in grand ways, but in 1,000 tiny, heartbreaking details. He'll notice the new person doesn't laugh at his jokes the same way, not with that deep, knowing chuckle that said, "I see all of you, and I'm still here." He'll realize she doesn't know how he takes his coffee, not just the cream and sugar, but the fact that he needs it in a specific mug on mornings when he feels the world is against him. These aren't just quirks. They are the sacred rituals of intimacy, the language of a shared life that he took for granted. He begins to feel a profound sense of being misunderstood, of being unseen. The irony, which is still lost on him at this point, is that he is finally feeling a fraction of what the woman who left felt for years. He is experiencing the loneliness of being with someone who doesn't see the real you. Jung's concept of the shadow comes into play here with brutal force. The shadow is the part of our psyche that contains all the things we repress, our fears, our insecurities, our perceived weaknesses. The woman who left had a way of soothing his shadow without ever acknowledging it. Her calm presence kept his demons at bay. Now, without her, the demons are stirring. The new relationship offers no such sanctuary. It offers a mirror, and in it, he sees his own neediness, his own emotional immaturity, his own inability to stand on his own 2 feet. This irritation grows into a quiet resentment, but it's misdirected. He might get angry at the new person for not understanding him, for being too demanding, for not being her. But deep down, a terrifying thought begins to surface. What if the problem isn't her? What if the problem is him? This thought is so revolutionary, so contrary to the narrative of his ego, that he shoves it down again and again. But it persists. It lingers in the empty spaces of conversation. It echoes in the silence of the night. Her absence is no longer a simple void. It has become an active diagnostic tool, revealing the parts of himself that are broken and undeveloped. He is living in a house that looks furnished from the outside, but inside, the rooms are cold and empty, and the silence is deafening. He is surrounded by the evidence of her irreplaceability, but his ego is still fighting a desperate rearguard action against this truth. He is a man haunted by the echo of a soul he thought was just a body. He is beginning to suspect that he didn't lose a girlfriend or a wife. He lost his anchor, and he is now adrift on a sea of his own making, with no idea how to find shore. And if you've ever felt like that echo, like that haunting frequency in someone's life, if you've ever poured your soul into someone only to walk away and wonder if it ever truly mattered, I want you to know this space is for you. This isn't just a channel, it's a sanctuary for the women who loved deeply, who gave freely, and who were brave enough to choose themselves when the story was over. You don't need to be loud to be heard here. So if this resonates with that quiet, powerful place inside of you, consider joining this community. Subscribe not because I'm asking you to, but because you deserve a place that honors the depth of your heart and the wisdom you've earned through your scars. And in the comments, maybe just leave a word about what this is bringing up for you. No story is too small. We are all witnesses here. The collapse does not happen like an earthquake. It is a slow structural failure, the result of 1,000 hairline fractures finally giving way at once. The moment he realizes he cannot replace her arrives not in a storm of drama, but in the suffocating stillness of a perfectly ordinary Tuesday night. The distractions have all failed. The novelty of the new relationship has worn off, revealing the stark, unvarnished reality beneath. The parties have ended, the friends have gone home, and he is left alone in a room that is full of her absence. It's in this crushing silence that the truth, which his ego had so skillfully suppressed, finally breaks through. It is a moment of horrific clarity. He sees, with the force of a physical blow, that she was not just a part of his life. She was the architect of its emotional stability. She was the one who remembered birthdays, who soothed his anxieties before a big meeting, who knew how to diffuse his anger with a single touch, who believed in him on the days he didn't believe in himself. She was the invisible scaffolding that held up the entire edifice of his life. And he was so busy looking at the facade that he never once acknowledged the work she was doing to keep it from crumbling. This is the point where Jung's process of individuation begins, not as a choice, but as a forced reckoning. Individuation is the journey of becoming whole, of integrating the conscious and unconscious parts of oneself. For him, this journey is initiated by the trauma of her absence. He is stripped of his primary coping mechanism, her emotional labor. He is now forced into a confrontation with the parts of himself he has spent a lifetime avoiding. His deep-seated fear of inadequacy, his terror of being alone, his profound emotional illiteracy. He looks in the mirror, and for the first time, he doesn't see the man he projects to the world. He sees a boy, frightened and ill-equipped, who used a woman's love as a shield against his own growing up. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." In this moment of clarity, the man feels the crushing weight of all the time he wasted. He wasted her love, her patience, her belief in him. He wasted the opportunity to grow, to learn, to become the man she saw in him. This realization is not about missing her in a romantic, sentimental way. It's a far more brutal, existential grief. He realizes that in losing her, he lost a critical part of his own potential. She was his chance to evolve, and he let it slip through his fingers out of pride, fear, and sheer, unforgivable negligence. The memory of her is no longer a soft, nostalgic glow. It is a searing indictment of his own character. He remembers all the times she tried to talk, to connect, to bridge the gap between them, and how he met her with silence, deflection, or dismissiveness. He remembers her pleading for a connection he was too cowardly to give. He sees that she didn't leave him. She graduated from him. She completed the lesson he was failing to learn, which was that you cannot build a life with someone who refuses to build themselves. The pain he feels now is not just loss, it is shame. It is the deep, soul-level shame of knowing you were given something precious and sacred, and you were not big enough, not brave enough, to hold it. He understands now that he can find another woman. He can find 100 other women, but he will never again find that woman, the one who saw the gold inside his leaden heart and spent years trying to be the alchemist who could draw it out. The tragedy he now understands is that the alchemy was always his job, and he refused to do the work. And what of the woman in this equation? Where is she when this tectonic shift is happening in his soul? By the time he arrives at this devastating point of realization, she is in another universe entirely. Her journey did not end when she walked out his door. It began. Her departure was not an act of power over him, but an act of reclaiming power over herself. She embarked on her own, quieter, but far more profound journey of individuation. She had to sit with the pain of her own choices, the grief of a future that would not come to be, and the work of healing the wounds that allowed her to stay so long in a place that asked her to be small. She meticulously gathered the pieces of her soul that she had outsourced to him, her worth, her peace, her sense of self, and she painstakingly brought them home. She faced her own shadow, the part of her that believed she had to save someone to be worthy of love, the part that mistook his potential for his reality. She learned, as Marcus Aurelius would advise, to distinguish between what is in her control and what is not. His growth, his realization, his pain, these were never in her control. Her own healing, her own peace, her own wholeness, these were. Her life is no longer defined by the echo of his moods or the weight of his unspoken needs. Her silence is no longer a weapon or a plea. It is a sanctuary. She has cultivated a rich inner world that does not require an external witness for its validation. She has become her own anchor, her own safe harbor. Her value is no longer a reflection in his eyes. It is a self-sustaining fire within her own heart. She doesn't need him to realize he can't replace her, because her sense of self is no longer contingent on being irreplaceable to him. She has become irreplaceable to herself. This is the ultimate act of empowerment, detaching her well-being from his journey of awareness. His moment of realization is a tragedy for him, but for her, it is simply a distant echo from a shore she has long since left. Her happiness is not built on the ashes of his regret. It is built on the solid ground of her own self-worth. So, when he has that moment, when the crushing weight of his loss finally lands, it doesn't send a ripple across her pond. She might feel a distant philosophical sadness for the man he could have been, for the love that could have flourished. But it does not pull her back. It does not undo her healing. Because the truth is, his realization was never the goal. Her liberation was. The most profound part of this entire dynamic is that her power was never in leaving to teach him a lesson. Her power was in leaving to save herself. His awakening is merely a side effect of her salvation. She did not break him to build herself up. She simply stopped allowing herself to be broken to keep him whole. The greatest testament to her growth is that she no longer needs him to understand what he lost. She is too busy enjoying what she has found, herself, whole, complete, and utterly magnificently irreplaceable. And if her story feels like your story, I want to thank you for being here, for holding this space with us. This community is built on the courage of women like you. If you feel moved to, please subscribe and become a part of this conversation. More importantly, the comments below are a safe space. They are a testament to the fact that you are not alone on this path. If you feel comfortable, share a piece of your story. What have you discovered about yourself since you chose your own peace? What topics would you like to explore together in the future? Your voice matters here. Your journey is our journey. Thank you for your wisdom.